And good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday, September 12th, 2020. If you can hear me over in the chat, let me know real quick. Trying something a little bit different instead of using the laptop today. How's everybody doing this morning? I want to thank you for being here. Let me know if you can hear me. As you see in the title this morning, we hit 60,000 subscribers. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone. I mean, really, when I started this channel a few years ago, I didn't think anybody would really have any interest in what I had to say or what I was doing. And here we are, 60,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. You should all give yourselves a round of applause, a pat on the back, because it is amazing. So we're waiting for a few more people to come on in this morning, but you do see also I've got some Protectli news, so something I want to talk about. This morning's live stream won't be real long. I have to get to UPS and get an 85 handset phone system shipped out this morning, so we've got to do that. Some other things we've got to do. It is raining here, but I think it's going to rain for most of the day. I think we're supposed to get like an inch of rain today, and then hopefully it'll clear off tomorrow. But what a perfect day to like stay inside, watch movies, eat popcorn, and do all that good stuff. But if you've got questions, go ahead and put questions down in the chat or over in the chat, whichever way the chat is, and we'll get right into it here. So you see in the title that we are talking about Protectli. Oh, by the way, real quick, thanks to Lenovo for this rig. And, thank you, Lenovo. This is a perfect streaming rig, and I can't thank them enough for sending this thing out. And I see that somebody, Code Scholar, asks in the questions, should I use pfSense or another? So I prefer OpenSense, and we've talked about that kind of over and over again. But so one of the things that I'm actually talking about is Raphael. I believe that's how, if I butchered your name, sorry about that. Asked, would you know if Protectli would work well with Untangle? Yes, Protectli will work well with Untangle. Let's switch over to the web browser, which I'm going to lose your comments for a minute while I do this. But I am happy to announce that I've worked with Protectli, and today one of my goals is to get out a base configuration to them. And the coffee cup is not a shameless mug. They did send me the coffee cup. I use it every morning. But what we've got going on with Protectli is we are going to have two Willie Howe specials. So the first special that we've got is the 4-port. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gig SSD core boot, and OpenSense preloaded, but it will also have a configuration that I am working on building today and going to send over. It will come with a configuration that'll have the LAN configured with a certain IP, a certain username and password. So that way, when you buy this, you're either going to know that and you won't have to deal with that setup, or if you're working with me, contracting with me, then you're going to be able to hit the ground running. So it is the 4-port unit. Like I said, 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gig, no Wi-Fi. It's going to have OpenSense preloaded with core boot. So, and you can see it's a special price. It's going to be $289. I'm not going to publish these links quite yet because I do need to get the configuration over. So if you were to order this today, they're not going to have the configuration. So that's going to put a little lag time there. But that's Willie Howe bundle number 1, just the unit by itself. Then the other bundle is actually going to be the 4-port, same configuration, but then you're also going to get the UPS and the rack. And I'm going to do a video on those. I've got a Synology video that I'm working on, and then I'm going to do a video on this stuff so you can see what all comes in the kit. But you can see for $349 here, you're going to get the appliance, the UPS, and the rack mount shelf. And then once we figure out everything, the logistics, and make sure that this goes okay, then I'm going to probably do a 2-port and a 6-port configuration as well. But people have been asking if I've got special pricing for Protectli. A lot of times we do, a lot of times we don't, but we are now going to have the Willie Howe bundles, and you're going to be able to get this. It's going to be a quick starter kit. I'm super excited about that. So yes, but Protectli will definitely run Untangle. It will also run ESXi. I thought about doing some videos on that as well, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that. So how's everybody doing this morning? Put your questions over in the chat. And Code Scholar, if you go through my videos, you'll see an OpenSense versus pfSense video, and that pretty much sums up my thoughts on pfSense versus OpenSense. So the other thing that I do have that's going to be coming up is, if you follow me on other social media, you will know that NetTool has sent me 3 of the Pro devices, and we're going to do a giveaway to celebrate 60,000 subscribers. We're going to do some giveaways. I also have a standard UDM that I'm going to give away, so watch out for those details here coming soon. Other than that, besides cranking out phone systems and trying to get to videos, and Sean and I have actually been talking quite a bit this week. I see Sean is in the chat. Sean, you want to tell us a little bit about your Cisco testing? So normally Sean would be testing Ubiquiti, but we're all checking out other gear at the moment. Code Scholar asks, okay, I'll check them out. Can I use them in a Proxmox lab? What is your hypervisor of choice? So you can definitely install Proxmox on a Protectli device as well. You can really load any Linux-based operating system on Protectli. And in fact, if James pops in here, James and I are actually working on, not only do we have a company that has a free switch-based rack mount appliance, PBX, but we are also working on rolling our own PBX that is not asterisk based, and we are going to use the Protectli platform to do that. So what would be really nice is if Protectli would work with me and we could send them an image of the operating system with the base PBX setup, and then you could go to, Protectli site and order that. So you never know what's going to happen, but I'm liking the idea of making these products easy for people to select, easy for people to obtain, and then we hit the ground running. So, all right, what else do we have? Oh, my hypervisor of choice. So I am a VCP, VMware Certified Professional. However, there are a couple other hypervisors that I do like. Now, VMware, you can use the free version, but you lose some of the functionality. However, if you're using Synology in tandem with ESXi, even with the free version, you could sudo do some of those things, right? I do play around a lot with the Synology virtual machines. I run a lot of small virtual machines on my Synologies that I have now. I do have the new Synology 1621 XS Plus that you're going to see, and it's got, it's their first desktop version that has an Intel Xeon processor. So they sent that over. So I'm probably going to run a lot more virtual machines on that, something in a more enterprise type capacity, if that's what you want to call it. But the Synology Virtual Machine Manager definitely does interest me, because you can run it in high availability clusters and things like that. And you've seen us use it, and we do use it in production for a few things, but to really use a lot of those features, you need multiple units and more memory and things like that. So that's something that I'm looking at. But as far as other hypervisors that I use, if you're talking about bare metal, check out Overt, which is, basically Red Hat virtualization, but it's how you have, I can't remember the word for it, but basically it's using the Red Hat packages but it's not Red Hat, it's downstream. I can't remember what they call that in Linux, but it's basically the same thing. CentOS is basically, Red Hat. It's using those packages. Overt is the same thing. So it's like the off-label Red Hat virtualization. And I'm really liking that, and going to do some videos on that as well. All right, let's see. What else do we have as far as questions go this morning? Peter Tasker asks, "Hey, Willie, what IP phone would you recommend for a domestic setting, i.e. passes the wife test?" Well, that's a very hard question. I don't know your wife very well. So as far as it goes here, like my wife just wants the phone to work. And I'm actually having a problem with, the Unify UDM not allowing VoIP traffic to pass through, so I'm troubleshooting that. But the phone that I use upstairs for that is a GrandStream video phone. It's one of the later series, and I really like that. But I will tell you that let me see if I can find the model that I'm talking about here. GrandStream video phone. And you know what? Something changed my search to Yahoo, and I just do not like the Yahoo search at all. It gives me too many irrelevant searches. But I really like, and we'll do a video on it, I like this phone personally. This is the GXV 3350, and man, that thing is sleek. And it runs Android, and I've got some customers that use this phone, and you can do video calling through the UCM or any other compatible PBX, which this is fully SIP compliant, and it uses standard codecs. There's nothing really proprietary about this phone, except really there's nothing proprietary about it. You can provision it on any PBX system. SIP-based PBX system. The only thing that's kind of proprietary when you're looking at GrandStream is with the GrandStream UCM, you can only provision GrandStream phones via the zero config, which is awesome. We use it all the time. But if you were asking me, like, if I were going to pick like a higher end phone, I would probably go with this GXV 3350. It is so, you still get your buttons, so you still get your tactical, your feedback on the buttons, but it integrates that new technology. And I think for many, many years to come, and I've said this, is we are still going to need phones with buttons. People freak out when their desk phone doesn't have buttons. I think that that's going away, but I still think for a long time we're going to have buttons on phones. So Peter, check out that phone and see if that passes your wife test. Jerry Scroggin asks, "Are you just doing your private company consulting?" No, I am not just doing that right now. I still have two careers. I have my day career and I have my consulting life. And I do keep those separate, but I am still running that dual life, so to speak. Dual careers. That sounds more like it. It's not like I'm Jekyll and Hyde. So... Sean says he is loving the RV Cisco router. That Cisco RV router is a nice little router, especially if you get the one that's got, what is it, Sean, 8 or 16 ports in it, and then you don't need another switch to go with it. Jerry Scroggins and James is in the comments. Jerry Scroggins has a video idea for us, James, a GrandStream and Microsoft Teams integration. And it's funny because James and I have had several small bite-sized conversations and talking and passing about that. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Good morning, Nick. Somebody says XCPNG. I do like XCPNG. The one thing that I wish that they would do is, if you're not using the paid support model, is that they wouldn't put those nag features in there. I think there might be a way to build it and not have that, but Code Scholar asks, says that he's using the Synology VM Manager 2 on the 916 Plus, but it's kind of slower over Quick Connect. So what you can do is, first of all, you can enable notifications, and this is for anybody listening, but Code Scholar specifically, enable notifications on your Synology, enable two-factor authentication, and then what you can do is change the web ports from the default 5000 and 5001 to something else. Use dynamic DNS at that point to get a Let's Encrypt SSL certificate, and then go ahead and just open that to the outside world. With two-factor authentication on there, you're going to be in good shape. So let's see. Good morning, Quick Tech Solutions. So I saw that you put out a video this morning about the new DJI gimbal. So let me know in the comments how you're liking that. I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet. I was kind of jealous of that device, and I did see that the version 3, because I think you're doing the version 4, the version 3 is now on sale for like $89. So I thought about picking that up. Somebody says real voice over IP phones have rotary dials. So I've actually looked into using a Grandstream ATA to actually get a rotary phone to work on a voice over IP system. It's totally impractical, but it's one of those things, you start having a couple of adult beverages and talking with people, and somebody says, I bet you can't. And you're like, I bet I can. And then you start thinking about how to make things happen. And if you use a Grandstream ATA, you could probably use like the HT, let me see, what is that? The HT, I want to say it's the 818. Hold on a second. I'll pull it up here. I think it's the 818. I might be wrong on that. Oh, I think it's the 801. It's either the 801 or the 818. You can do the pulse dialing for rotary phones. And so I was looking at this, of course, digging into the actual capabilities of the devices. But I believe with this device or the 801, but for some reason it was in my head that we had to have this one. That may not be right, and we may be able to pull it off with this 801. And the 801 is going to be a little bit more economical, and it is only a one port. But James, is this something we'd be interested in? I'll throw one of these in my Amazon cart. And really where I thought it would be cool or it would be fun is if I had a red desk phone that was a rotary phone, and James, like if James had an issue or somebody had an issue, I'd have a special phone number that just goes to the bat phone, kind of like on, the old 1970s Batman series. So just one of those fun things that you think about. Excuse me. So Quick Tech Solutions says, loving the OM4 so far. The major difference between the 3 and the 4 is the new magnetic mounting feature and stronger motors. Also claims no balancing required, but subject to what phone is used. So if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the Osmo Mobile. Let me pull it up here real quick. It's the Osmo Mobile 4 gimbal, which is meant for your phone, your cell phone. Osmo OM4. And I thought about picking one of these up. I do have a gimbal for my cell phone, and it's not it's one of the like top 3 brands, but it's not like the top brand, and I'm not really happy with it. It would probably work for somebody that doesn't want to move around as much as I want to when I'm getting that cell phone footage. But this OM4, the one thing that makes me nervous is the magnetic mount, right? But I guess if you've got your phone in a case, but you see everybody just slapping their phones on here in the preview video, you'll have to let me know, like long term. Yeah, so it's got that special mounting, and for me, that just makes me nervous. And I would think, and let me know what you think, Tony, that little adapter, and like I said, I don't know much about it, but that little adapter for the OM4 needs to go directly on your phone, right? I wouldn't put that on a case or anything like that, right? Is that what you're kind of thinking? For me, on that Osmo 3, that's, let's see here. For me, that Osmo 3, let's see if we can just go to OM3. Didn't work. Okay, so DJI Osmo 3. I like the clamp, around the phone. And it's probably just a feeling thing, right? Like it feels like your phone is more secure, whether it's really more secure or not. It could be factual. It could just be a feeling. I don't know what your thought is on that, Tony. But yeah, the Osmo 3 is a great deal at the current price. Like I said, I think I saw it for like $89 or something like that. But I wanted to check in with everybody this morning. I am trying to make sure that we're getting back on the live stream schedule. We had it there for a while, but definitely trying to make sure that we get back into that. Maybe one of these days when it cools off, maybe I'd like to try some gaming. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but I do have a Steam account, and I play Day of Defeat Source. If anyone's interested in playing Day of Defeat Source, it's Axis and Allies. Let me pull it up here real quick. And once again, my default search goes over to Yahoo, so I've got to change that. So if we go to Day of Defeat Source, let me pull this up. So this is actually my favorite first-person shooter. The game's it's a little older, right? But I find it fun. My son thinks it's fun to knife me, so that's his whole goal when we play, is to sneak up behind me. But I love this game. This is I think it's fun. If you're into first-person shooters and you'd like to play, check it out. Let me know. But what else we got going on this morning? Like I said, going to have to get ready here. Going to have to go to UPS here shortly. All right, Code Scholar says in the comments, I've got the two-factor and Let's Encrypt on the 916, but the VM is kind of laggy. Maybe install a KVM on Ubuntu and use Synology Drive to a sync disk. I think it's getting a little you're starting to get a little complicated if you're okay with managing that. So a lot of my solutions, I try to make them as simple as possible because I'm not managing them all the time. But if that works for you, that might be something that you could look at. Tony says, correct, but I'm using the magnetic bracket and not the permanent magnet. The magnet is super strong. Love to see how it holds up over time. Yeah. Space Cowboy with a cookie says, when you put the magnetic plate on the phone, it prevents wireless charging. And Sean says, you have time to play games? That's breaking news there. So I don't have time to actually play games. Occasionally when I'm on the computer where Steam is installed and I'm done doing business, occasionally I'll fire up Steam. I'll hop into a Day of Defeat Source for about 5 minutes. My KDR falls apart. I rage quit and go on and do other things. But one of these days, before it's too late, the plan is to slow down just a little bit, play some games. It's something that I think I need to do, take a little bit of time to just relax. But you know how that is. Everybody knows that, it's, I don't know, 2020, the year that it's definitely been a strange year. I hope everybody is doing well. Once again, I want to thank everybody for 60,000 subscribers. If you're here watching and you're a subscriber, please give me a thumbs up down there. That'll let the YouTube algorithm know that you do appreciate what's going on. I definitely, appreciate each and every one. Without all of you, like, this channel just wouldn't even exist. Like, if it wasn't for everybody and the interaction and everybody wanting to bring together this community, there would be no point in doing this. So really, because of all of you, that's why we do this. So I want to thank you again for that. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I will be releasing the Protectli preview. Like I said, I got to get that config sent over to them, so they've got that. We're going to see how that works out, but we are more and more recommending the Protectli with OpenSense. I just got off the phone this morning with a client where we're actually going to deploy 90 of these new, let me pull it up. I think you'll find this interesting because it's voice over IP and it's video and it's access control. We're going to deploy 90 of these in an apartment building, and it is the new, excuse me, the new Grand Stream. If you haven't seen it, it's got like a 7-inch screen. It runs, it's the GSC 3570, and we are going to deploy 90 of these in the facility. So everybody will have one of these inside their door. It'll be hooked into a Grand Stream system. We had a conversation this morning about the pros and cons of a high availability system for a setup like this versus having another PBX on the shelf and then backing up the configuration to an SD card so you can do a quick change. It's in the end, it's the customer's money. And there is a difference, you know, when you start looking at doing high availability, there is some cost to that, but there's also a lot of logistical savings. And what is your time worth, right? You keep hearing people say, what is your time worth? Well, really, what is your time worth? Because I know what James and I charge customers, and Tim is also on board. And I'm also in the market for, let me throw this out there. I'm in the market for another subcontractor, but it is very hard for me to, you know, put my name on somebody. So if you're interested in becoming a subcontractor, go to my website, fill out the form, and we'll talk about that, because I'm at the point where I do need another subcontractor, but you will definitely, we will have to have extensive conversations and meetings before that is something that is done. But I am looking for another subcontractor. Back to this. What this is going to be used for is, you know, somebody will basically be able to talk to somebody that wants to get into the building, somebody that's standing in the hallway, things like that. So instead of having a regular phone, we're going to use these. And it's going to be a pretty interesting deployment. So I actually bought one of these for myself. I did not reach out to Grand Stream and ask for one. I could have very easily done that, but they've provided me so much stuff at this point that I was like, you know what, I'll buy this one myself. So I did buy one of these. It's on the way. You're going to see videos on this. You'll see some integration videos. Try to get this integrated with Synology, surveillance station, and all that good stuff. So I'm pretty excited about this. We've got some other phones on the way too. Got some Snom phones on the way. Snom? Is it Snom or Snom? Snom? Anyway, I've got some Snom phones on the way for testing that I bought myself. And then we do have some other phones coming from an upcoming supplier. They reached out, wanted to know if we wanted to review some of their phones. And we said yes. And one thing that they have that I'm super excited about is an actual large button phone. And the reason that I am excited about the large button phone is because we have an aging population that still wants those buttons, but we need to be upgrading that infrastructure over to voice over IP. So if we can do that and have a large button phone, it's going to work out great. So you'll see that large button phone once we get it. So, and then they've got another higher end phone. James is pretty excited about that. And James and I are also receiving a new Yaystar beta. You're going to see James start to do some videos on some other PBXs as well. We're going to make sure that we start cranking this content out back at a regular schedule. So the resolution on the screen on this, I believe, is 1280 by 600, 1024 by 600 is the resolution on that. It does have AC Wi-Fi. It's got 4 alarm inputs and 1 alarm output. It's got 2-way HD audio. So I'm pretty excited about this. this device. I got to play with this device in Mexico last year. I got to put my hands on it. But you can see some of the different integrations that it's got here. So I'm super excited about that. But I have hit my 30-minute mark for this morning. I promised my wife I wasn't going to go much longer than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up here. Once again, thank you everybody for 60,000 subscribers. If you need IT consulting, go down to williehowe.com. If you want to become a subcontractor, go down to williehowe.com, fill out my contact form. Let's talk. If you need anything, even if you just want to reach out and say hi, reach out down there, shoot me an email, all that stuff. Thank you everybody for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.